Alright, so here we are on the 455, actually a couple days after my initial video, so it's been sitting here cold for about 24 hours or so. The shop's about 40 degrees, that's what the temperature we're starting it up at, and so I'm actually going to advance the throttle a little bit because this thing rattles pretty good at low RPMs, so as soon as I get it cranked, I'll go open the garage door. But alright, glow plugs are out, brake is in, let's see how it goes. How does it drive? It does. Alright, I'll get the shop door open and I'll do a video of me driving around the driveway. Alright, so you just got done watching me drive around in circles. What did I learn? I actually drove it a little bit more, actually quite a bit more, after I turned the camera off. And I don't exactly know how much of that video I will throw in to the YouTube video. But what I was trying to do is I was trying to identify a couple things that have the potential. One of the things I did identify, since I had not driven it until now, is the fact that this front axle is actually pretty loose in terms of front to back play. I'll have to dig into that a little bit. You know, ultimately we might be able to take and replace the front axle pin. Certainly not an ideal situation by any means, because I'm sure those things are expensive, or the front axle bolt. Also, I wanted to make sure that I could get it hot, make sure all the gauges work, which they do. I did get it hot, and you can see it's kind of fogged up in here. The temperature gauge actually came up a little bit. Did not come up as much as I thought. But I'll just kind of walk around this machine, kind of some of the things that I noticed if you're going to look to buy a 455. And yes, this one will be for sale, so I'm pointing out all the flaws, so you know if you're interested in buying it, let me know. It'll be a couple months, because I do want to use it for a little while to play with it. So first and foremost, standing here at the front corner, we got this crack in the hood right here. Obviously the hood's got some, you can kind of see the discoloring right there. I'm guessing the hood is original. Front headlights cracked. I do not know if the headlights work or not, but I can certainly look at it and see if it is. This side panel over here is cracked. When you take it off, it'll stay together, but it is cracked. So you know, that'll need to be replaced. I'm not going to replace it. That's just too much money for what this is for me. aside from that, the hours, I would expect with the hours, the steering is going to be slightly sloppy. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a turn to the steering wheel before the wheels start to move. Now that can probably come from several different areas. I don't think it's the steering cylinder. When we were underneath the tractor doing all the work, we noticed that the steering cylinder has a date of November 2007, I believe. So obviously the steering cylinder has been replaced. No idea the number of hours when it was replaced, but it does not seem loose. The tie rod does not seem loose either. Excuse me. And then the front axles themselves, the front spindles, do not seem to be a problem. I'll certainly investigate that. I'm tempted to pull the front wheels off. The front wheels spin great, bearings are great, but I am tempted to pull the front spindles off to see how they handle, and you see if they're worn or anything, because sometimes that's one of the pieces that people forget to grease over time. Other than that, the biggest problem identified so far is playing with the rear PTO. I don't know if it's linkage or not. It doesn't really bother me. I don't think it would bother too many people. But there's a gearing issue somewhere with the fact that, so you can do the 540, 2000, and 2000. So this is the mid-mount, both rear and front, and rear and mid-mount, and then just the rear. Well, rear works fine. Well, excuse me. The 2000 RPM works fine. The rear does not turn. When you turn them both on, they both turn. And when you put it in the up position, they both still turn. So the mid-mount is still turning when it should only be 540 RPM. Like I said, I don't think that's necessarily a huge deal. It's probably a misalignment with a lever, because this right here is just a mechanical linkage to a shaft in the PTO. Doesn't really interest me to dig too much into that. It is worth noting, and I would tell a potential buyer that, I mean, I'm not up to hose somebody or something like that. Most likely it is just an adjustment that needs to occur. But certainly something that you would want to look at if you're buying it. Other than that, I mean, I am going to order some replacement taillight lenses, and etc. Mostly just because I think that looks a lot better. I'm not going to order new inserts, just the lenses, then the white insert that goes inside. And then I'll probably go ahead and order one of those kits where you can reinforce it so they don't fall out. I'll probably go ahead and get one of those. They attach to the light and the handle and the fender pan. So this 455 is not in half bad condition. I am noticing. Let's look back where it was sitting. It sat in this spot for almost 24 hours. So let's see here. We have 3 oil spots. That one and that one are from the 318. And I don't remember seeing this one, but it does not look fresh. This one. I'll have to keep a watch on that. The front tires were parked right here because the grease on the ground. I had some grease on the tires. So I'll definitely have to watch that. That one right there is decently concerning. Mostly from the standpoint is I said the steering cylinder wasn't a big issue, but then when you look at it under there, it looks kind of grody, and like something's leaking off of there. So that I'll have to definitely explore that a little bit more, see where it's coming from. I don't know if that's just residual stuff from us working on it, something like that. I'll have to dig around for a few minutes, see what I can figure out. So that's what I'll do next. This will be the end of this video, and the next part will be me. I'll probably be working on the front end and kind of going from there. So, and then I also have to talk about the deck. So that may be the next part. Anyway, thanks for watching.